Hello and welcome back to the channel and my cycloptic Morris. In this video I'm going to be turning my attention to the headlights, from the bowl to the bulbs, wiring to aligning, or at least that's the plan anyway. So the bowl itself is secured with 4 2BA screws here and here. So they're pan head and they look like that. And then where we've got these brass inserts, that's where the headlamp adjuster screws go. And they're made up of this screw here, spring, washer, and then a rubber cap on the back, because that's exposed inside the wheel arch, so that just kind of keeps the dirt, etc. off of it. But I'm going to put these together now, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of copper grease on there just to make sure they don't seize up as the last ones did. So we take our first adjuster screw. First thing to pop on is the washer, like so. Then the spring, and then they should sit in there like so. Now as we tighten that up, it's probably going to pop out the other side. So again, like I said, just to keep the dirt and the dust off of it that's going to kick up from the wheel arch, we can just put that rubber protection cap over the back. So now I've just got to do the other two. So now we've got our adjusters in place. I can thread the wiring loom through the hole into the bowl, the hole in the bowl. And then we've got this rubber bung here which seals the hole, make sure no moisture can get in, and all the dirt as well. And that should fit nice and snug. So then we've got our connection onto the back of the headlamp, and we've got our wiring we can now feed back into the car. Before I pop it into place, I'm just putting the rubber on the back that seals the back of the bowl to the wing. I'm using an old rubber here, mainly because I ordered the wrong part, but I have put just a bit of rubber grease on the back of it, just to try and reduce some of that drying out, aging and cracking. So let's pop that into place. So looking from the inside, and things may change from car to car here, I'm not entirely sure, but on my one anyway, we've got the square nuts sitting inside some folded plates. Now I've got one I've had to cut away here because the nut was rusted absolutely solidly to the screw, so I'm just going to replace that with a normal nut. So with our bonnet up, we can now thread the cable through this hole, and then immediately to the right in the wing. It doesn't come out on camera, but it's there anyway. The cable now gets fed through there, and there should be like a rubber bung. I'm sure it should be tighter on the cable than mine actually is, but the main reason for these grommets is actually just to stop the cable rubbing on the sharp metal edge. The outlet of the cable goes in the upmost position, and then the bigger holes here is where we align the adjuster. Lovely. Naturally, as I took everything apart, I uncovered some rust around here. Now I think this is a normal sort of rust trap area for the Morris, so if you're looking at that and you've got some rust in there, it's well worth just cleaning it right the way back to bare metal, treating it before giving it a coat of paint. My paint doesn't quite match, but at least I know it's protected. I have recently seen a photo where somebody's removed the bowl and everything behind it just disappeared, and they've got nothing to attach their new bowl to. So back inside the engine compartment, we've got our cables coming through here. We can feed them through this loop that's designed to sort of a bit of a cable tidy. There's a bolt holding it onto the bodywork, and a couple of sort of female connectors where the earth goes through. And we've got 2 cables coming through here. We've got our blue and red for the dip beam, and the blue and white for the main beam, and then they just connect into these double-ended female connectors. So connector wise, the Morris typically uses this twin double-ended female connector, and sometimes there is a single version of that as well. So the next stage is to take our lamp, pop the bulb in, connect up our wiring, and pop it back into the bowl. Now the correct bulb is a Lucas BPF type. The bottom of it is sort of similar like you used to see in your old house bulb, but although this is the original type of bulb, I'm actually going to take this opportunity to do a little upgrade, and I'm going to fit an LED bulb. Now I have not used one of these particular ones before, but it's coming from Classic Car LEDs, who I have used before, and I've been very pleased with the results. It should be a straightforward fitment. The plate on the back is the same sort of style on here, Apparently they're for either negative or positive earth. The only rule is that this black strip here needs to be facing upright. If it's not, it's easy adjustable. There's 2 grub screws, one either side, and they actually provide the Allen key for you to be able to loosen it and adjust it. So I'm going to be using this partly because it uses about 75% less energy than your traditional bulb, and I'm still running a dynamo on here. I did buy an alternator, but I decided just to stick with it, so I haven't fitted it, but I think these will certainly help on the draw. So let's get this fitted and see what the results are like. So this is the top of my lamp here, and like I say, the black strip has to go at the top there, and it is sitting directly opposite this little groove, and I've got this little bump there, the groove sits around it, so that just pops in nicely like that. Very straightforward. Our connection here, we've got 3 lugs on the side there. They're unevenly spaced, so they've got to be the right way around. I've got a bigger gap there and a bigger gap there, so I think it should be that way around. There we go. So that technically should be connected. And then once you connect it up, everything now should just slot into place. This is the top here. Now that should sit and push over the top of those screws and slide into place. But typically, these new screws are bigger than the holes, so it doesn't slot into place, which is just kind of typical of this job, this really simple job so far. So once you've got your headlights secured and in place, next job is the alignment. Now to do this, we're going to need to park the car on a flat surface and have a suitable wall, garage door or fence. Now you want to park about 2 to 3 foot, which is about 600 to 900 millimeters, and there we can measure the ground to the center of the headlights, and we can mark that on our wall or our fence. And then similarly, we need to mark or measure the center of the headlights, so we get the width. And again, we need to mark that on the wall or the fence. Now we're going to move the car back about 25 to 30 feet, which is about 8 or 9 meters. And then we're going to put the dipped headlamps on, and the light thrown from the lamps should be as center as possible to the markings on the wall. Now, it's a bit difficult with these older cars. The lights are not as focused as a modern car. It's not as clear. In a modern car, you kind of get a nice crisp line. It's not the same with these older cars, but we need to get it as close as possible. Obviously, you need to park the car parallel to the wall or the fence that you're working with, and as I said, the ground needs to be very level. Ideally, you want to be sitting in the driver's seat as well, so the adjustments you make correspond with the car as it will be driven on the road. So to make our adjustments, we've got our adjustment screws. So to move the beam up and down, we obviously tighten or loosen the top one, and then to make the beam move to the left or to the right, we've got our 2 side ones. There is one final job we must do, and that is install the chrome bezel. Now that is clipped on the top, on the inner lip that's there. The top is sort of denoted by this little bump that's on there as well. And we're secured underneath, there's a hole there, and that goes into this metal little clasp down here with a Phillips headed self-tapping screw. One side on, and the second one, but I'm not happy with that fit. Right, well this job is now done, but I've got to say I am far from happy with pretty much every step of the process. And the reason being, first of all, I ordered a new bowl and the thread on the adjusters was not cut correctly. Secondly, the adjusters, I ordered new adjuster set as well, which came with the screws, the springs, the washers, as I showed you. But the headlamp, the surround on the headlamp didn't fit over those screws. So I ended up swapping them out for the fixing screws and the headlight adjuster screws, just so it would fit together. Got that in place. Now the bulb itself, I would have liked to have had a warm white LED bulb, so it kind of matched in with the original a little bit more, but they're no longer available, so I got a neutral white, and it really kind of makes the side lights stand out as being particularly dull and yellow, although I do realise I do have a bit of an earthing issue over this side. So I think to overcome that, probably fairly easy, is to replace these with LED bulbs. It's obviously going to make it a little bit safer on the road anyway. We're going back to the headlight. So once I'd got it back together again, the chrome surround just does not fit properly on that bowl. I don't know what is going on, but this really hasn't worked as it should have done at all. Now I've been in touch. The supplier of the bowl and the headlight adjusting kit are quite a reputable company that a lot of minor owners use, so I have been in touch with them. They are aware of the issues with the threads on the bowl. They have been through their entire stock and probably binned the ones that were no good, and they did send me out pretty quickly a replacement for here, which is how I've managed to get it together. I then contacted them about the adjuster screw heads. They were unaware of that, but now they are aware, so they're going to be looking into that. But I've managed to find a bit of a workaround on that. So hopefully this video has shown you the process and what's involved in the headlight bowl. It should be a straightforward job. It shouldn't take very long at all, but this has taken forever and it's probably been the worst experience of owner's maintenance that I've had to do on the car for the size of the job. Anyway, it's done. I can get the car back on the road again. Those new LED headlights are certainly going to make it safer for me driving at night through the winter as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and please do stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you for the next one. Cheerio.